I wish to thank you and the Secretariat for the clarification you made at the outset. Ghana is not an affected country. Ghana is an interested country. Ghana is interested in this situation by virtue of the fact that we are chair of ECOWAS at the moment. Our chairmanship just incidentally coincided with the outbreak of this deadly disease. And we have accepted a challenge to lead. We are doing so in practical ways. I would want to, at the outset, commend all diplomatic missions, international organizations, and the international community in general for showing so much support, understanding, and for the contributions they have made in containing this deadly disease. In fact, this may have started as a civil war, but it is now a full-blown world war. And everybody is affected. Everybody is interested. So this is the time for us to come together to fight this common enemy. Fortunately for us in Ghana, we have yet to record a single case of Ebola. It doesn't mean that it is far away, but we're praying and we hope that nothing untowardly will happen in this direction. That notwithstanding, we are the chair of ECOWAS and we have taken certain measures towards containing this disease. We have, in the recent past, hosted two ECOWAS health ministers meetings in rapid succession with the collaboration of the WHO, followed by the 45th ECOWAS Summit, all of which culminated in the preparation of a regional strategy approach and the creation of the ECOWAS Pool Fund for Ebola, a war chest in the fight against this disease. We have also recently, just last month, hosted the ECOWAS Chief of Defense Staff meeting, which pledged its support to the fight against Ebola and general insecurity in the sub-region. It is important to note at this stage that Ghana is presently working together with the UN in setting up an international logistics and coordination center in Accra to serve as the main hub for the fight against Ebola in the sub-region. We will all recall that the President Mahama, made some snap visits to these affected countries recently to show practical support and solidarity with them and to map out an agenda for galvanizing local and international resources in the onslaught against the disease. And I'm happy to announce that just after the visits, the Ghana Air Force airlifted about 100 tons of humanitarian relief items to the three affected countries. While we are looking outside, we are also working internally. We have actually set up a technical interministerial committee to prepare the country for any eventuality. And this committee will certainly be of assistance with the general coordination efforts within the sub-region. It is important to caution the international community at this juncture against this unfortunate emerging trend and danger of classifying the whole of West Africa as a country for purposes of probably ostracizing, vilifying, and unduly restricting the movement of our people. I think it is a very dangerous thing to do. This is rather the time for us to come together to embrace each other, not physically, but do things in a manner as to bolster the confidence of everybody in fighting this deadly disease. While time is of the essence in addressing this epidemic, there's also the urgent need for proper coordination. We don't need to work at cross purposes like we're doing right now. And we need to avoid, to engage in coordination so that we can avoid duplication and waste. It is in this context that my mission endorses the ongoing efforts to convene an international conference on Ebola in aid of West Africa, which should holistically address the multidimensional impact of the epidemic on the sub-region in particular, and on the rest of the world in general. We actually appreciate the efforts being made by the Western countries, the UK recently, which on the 2nd of October held a mini donors conference in aid of Sierra Leone. It was well patronized, but it may have been better done if it had embraced all the 3 countries affected. We do not need to pick and choose at this time whom we help. We have to make sure that the help comes in a very orderly and meaningful way. If, for me, a rebel situation in Mali alone evoked such a massive response, to the extent that we held a whole donors conference in connection therewith. In this time, when we need this kind of assistance, I think it should be more marked. It should be more pronounced. We need this kind of assistance now, ever than before. Mali was the case of one country, of course, with ramifications within the sub-region. But this has ramifications well beyond the sub-region. And so I believe this is the time for us to put our weight behind this idea and get the international community to come together to hold a conference which would benefit everybody. In that case, we'll have a situation where it would prioritize assistance to affected countries while considering pragmatic ways of supporting vulnerable neighboring countries, such as mine. At the same time, it is important to urge all those seeking assistance, as well as those providing same, not to direct all the funds and logistics to only the affected countries. We are helpers. Ghana is a helper. ECOWAS is a helper. And if you helped the needy without helping the helper, there's going to be a problem. So while we're taking care of those who are afflicted, we should be taking care of ourselves. So whoever donates must have us in mind. If we have been able to fight HIV/AIDS to a very successful point, I believe we can do the same with Ebola if we all come together. Thank you very much.